Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is having a great Thursday so far. Good morning, Mr. Paul, Mr. Pete, and Mr. Bob. Hope you gentlemen are doing good this morning. I myself have been up most of the night, so there's that. I haven't been doing much, but I have been awake. Just been kind of watching some YouTube and chilling. I do have an appointment today I've got to keep, so that's something I have to do today. What are y'all up to this morning? What is going on in the knife scene? I'm about to say what's going on in the Discord because I went over there to check it, but doesn't seem much is going on. No, I took a nap and woke up at like 1 a.m. And then I just I've been playing, this is what I've been doing the rest of this morning. I've been playing stupid slots on my phone, and I just bought in for $20, and I just hit a jackpot. I had $19 left. I'd only spun like 5 or 6 spins, and then I just hit a $52 win. So this is how you win at slots. You hit the redeem button, you buy them for 20, and you cash out for 71.88. 71.88. Then you hit next, your bank account, yes, continue, redeem, and boom. Your prize is now pending. So I just made 51 bucks. That'll help pay for one of these knives I buy. So that's always cool. I wasn't thinking I was going to get done before I had to start the stream, so I had it on auto, and then I hit that bonus. So yeah, during the night I started to work on this thing. It's been out in my garage, and I've got to fix the clip on it. I've got to get 2 screws for it, but it's the Rad Knives cleaver. Ed told me I should get one of these, and I have one. Totally forgot. It was out in I got them to send me a clip, and they sent the wrong clip, I guess. So I've got to make these holes bigger where they line up with the... So I got them bigger, but now I got to get the screws to mount it. But anyway, hopefully that'll work. Morning, John. During the night, I also mirror polished this blade like John recommended I do on the Mass Drop and FerraMonster collab. So I polished up that blade pretty good. So now I can sell this knife and not feel bad about there being a bunch of scratches on the blade. There's a couple of satin lines still on it, but I'll probably polish it a little more before I sell it. But that turned out pretty good. And then yesterday I got 2 knives. I got this nice milled Tucson, which is one I don't have or didn't have. It's got a cool clip on it. Nice milling work. It has got a very pointy blade that makes me want to go like that. So yeah, I got that in the mailbox yesterday. And I also got this thing, which I'm not impressed with because of how heavy it is. Like, this thing weighs a ton. Like, I don't know why they didn't do any kind of internal milling. But it's just big slabs of titanium. It weighs 5 ounces. And just for example, this one weighs 4 ounces. So it's pretty hefty. Other than that, it's a good knife. It's the Arcforum Slim Foot, if you don't know. I wish they would have made the fuller somehow where you could reverse flick off of it. Maybe you can, but my detent on this one is very strong also. I've got to adjust it a little bit. The lock bar is yeah, keep it scale stupid. A lot of knife companies, are you asking what that is, or you're asking if it has it? Internal milling is where they mill out pockets on the inside of the knife so that it makes it lighter. Of course, so I can't tell. Yeah, so this one has it. Let me show you, since you aren't familiar. I've showed it before, but internal milling is when they remove metal from the inside so that the knife is lighter, because big slabs of titanium can get heavy at times. Morning, TC. So yeah, internal milling is this right here. Internal milling is where they mill out pockets of the titanium on the inside of the knife where you can't see it, and good companies do it just about everywhere they can. Some companies will get funky with it and make it in different shapes and stuff, but they just did this one, simple shape pockets, but it makes the knife weigh a lot less. And I'm not sure why they didn't do that with the Arcforum. I do have something else cool to show y'all here in a minute. By the way, the Usler neutralizer was released last night. I've been talking about it on stream pretty heavy, as coming out soon, and it has officially come out now. The links to it are in the links channel on the Discord. They have 2 models. I will show that when I get this knife put back together. If you do decide to buy 1 or 2, you can use a $10 or a $20 code to get them for $85 instead of $95 a piece. I do like both models. I did buy both models. All right, we're back together. So let me show you all that real quick. $600 power bill. Wow, TC. That's pretty wild. I'm sorry to hear that, sir. Let me see here. So, go back to Firefox. I didn't really mean to be in the Discord. So this is the knife that it is a clone of. Uh-oh. Thought I turned my volume off on my phone. I apologize. This is a knife it is a clone of, and this is the knives. So the top one is the one that model. No, actually it's not. They've got a different milling pattern. This one goes from end to end, and that one goes across it. And then they have the milled the one with the holes in it. Super cool looking knives. It's got the good caged bearings. Nice lock bar insert. There's the, looks like it's got a nice detent ball hole and track. Heat treated 154, good heat treated 154 cm blade steel. Whoops. Here's the hardness test on it. They've been getting the hardness test down on these things. So a 61. So that's cool. Morning, Waylon. So yeah, that was released last night. Let's see. All right, so let's get to the unboxing. I do need to do something about all these knives because it's a big box. So let me put all them down here on my handkerchief. So we got this one. We got this one. We got the OG. We got the blue star one with the scratches on it. We got the Japanese one, and then we got the blue line one. I will leave these on here just because, but I'm still gonna have to back up to see the box. So let me just the hardness represents the ability to keep an edge and you don't, too hard will become brittle, too soft will dull quickly. So there's a mix in between that they need. Each steel needs to kind of fall in a certain range to be heat treated properly. And 154 cm at 61 is very good. All right, so let me get these three off the way so it at least looks even. All right, let's do this unboxing here. So here we go. This is the surprise I said that I got. I haven't told y'all about, but I did wake up that day at 1 o'clock and order this. I've not taken it out of the box. I was waiting on y'all. So it looks like we get a certificate with a nice seal on it. We get a screen for the bowl. We get a playing card of some type, some selectable playing card. There's another playing card. You get the RMJ USA sticker. We get a book that's got stuff in here about, and then we get a pocket constitution. So that's super cool. And then we get into the actual tomahawk. So let's get it out of here and look at it, since I haven't seen it. Get the box out of the way. Alright, first impressions. The handle is rough, which means it will be nice and grippy. It looks like it has a texture milled, lathed into it. Not sure if you can see all those lines on it, but it looks like it's kind of rough. It doesn't feel splintery at all. Feels really good, actually. You can see the size of it. Yes, John. That's why it came with the screen. So, this is the part that goes. So yeah, TC, he talks about where it came from. It's an old drawing in a book because it's a smokable. It's a Patriot smoke. It's actually a smokable pipe. So it's like one of the old peace pipes. Looks like it's got a nice leather cover. Let's check out the blade. Oh wow. Very sharp. Let's see. See how sharp it actually is. Wow. That's impressive. Wow. Well, that's cool. So, let's test and see. Let's see if it's airtight, because that's important. Let me put this back up since it is super sharp. Alright. So let's see here. So as you can see on this end, it has a hole. And then on here it has a bowl. And let's see if we got... Yes. Yes, it is airtight. So it should work as intended. The only problem is I don't think I have a regular lighter anywhere. All I've got are my electronic ones. Uh-oh, hold on. Oh, that's not even a regular one. I thought it was. I thought maybe laying over beside me here I might have one regular lighter from somewhere. But no. But I'm quite sure I can still light it. Yes, it does have an end cap for cleaning, so you can unscrew this and run a pipe cleaner or rod all the way down the length of the entire thing. I'm not going to take it off. Let's make sure that's good and tight so that good and tight. Let's get the screen formed correctly. Alright, looks like the screen might not even need to be really formed. It's going to be hard to get it in there properly. Not sure how deep the bowl actually goes. It would be cool if it wasn't that deep to where you can actually get it out kind of easily. But luckily I got it in there good. I don't think y'all will be able to see that, but maybe you can. Let me see. One of my lighters over here has a flashlight on it, so let's see if that flashlight, yeah. So you can see that it is down there in the bottom. Maybe. This thing's actually too bright. There we go. You see it went all the way to the bottom there. All right. Morning, Michael. Sir. So let's see if this thing works. Going to since I'm in Tennessee, I'm going to put some tobacco in it. See if it actually works. All right. Got that packed in there. Yeah. So let's see if she works. Y'all won't be able to see my mouth off camera, but it will be down here at this end. Yep, it works. Kind of hard without a lighter with a flame. This one sucks. I've got a real torch here. So yeah, it works. I will just say, yeah. Hey, Johnny Rebel, you got any backy? So I like all the touches on it. Got the USA and the RMJ on there. The RMJ and USA on the leather. I like the copper rivets. Like just about everything about it. Let me try it one more time. So yes, works great. I'm glad I picked up one. They sold out. They sold out pretty quickly. So I'm glad I grabbed one. And come to find out, they were actually made. RMJ is in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is my neighbor. So it didn't have to ship very far. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I do like the fact that you can clean it. Yeah, I like the finish on the handle too. It's very grippy. Okay, Sever7. Yeah, I messaged you on Discord to ask about that. That definitely goes all the way through. So that's cool. I'm betting there's a metal rod all the way down the middle, but not positive. Wow. I feel that that tobacco. So yeah, super cool heirloom piece. Speaking of that Severn, I've got it right here. So I do have an extra shortcut if anybody wants one. I got the two that I ordered a while back in. I did not even check out and see what razor blade this one came with. So let's check that out. Yeah, I would agree, John. I don't like the color of the handle as much as a darker stain, so I probably will try to stain that. I'm just worried about getting the head off. That's what she said. I'm sure I could very gingerly. Oh, haha. Well, there you go. So yes, I think I may stain this a dark color. I've got some cool stain. It's got kind of a reddish tint. Not sure. I'll check out a place that I can sand easily, like down here on the bottom. Yeah, and I'm glad of that because, you know, it doesn't take much to get a head seated properly, and it shows that it's the exact right size. And as you see here, I think it actually went this way. It's still got some room to tighten up, so that's cool. I'm not going to tighten it too tight, but I am going to tighten it enough that it stays on. All right, back to what I was doing. Let's see what razor blade this one came with. I was hoping I could get the tape off of here so I can repackage it up the way it came. But it looks like it's wanting to be a pain in the butt, and I don't want to press too hard because there is a razor blade in here, so. Come on, tape. Let go. There we go. Ow, it got me. Just about got me. Be careful when you're unboxing a razor blade, especially when it's in some kind of crazy Chinese package. I'm not bleeding, so there's that. I knew it was going to get me. I kind of foreshadowed that. Oh, by the way, I found my little Japanese canary. So this is that little canary thing, that box opener that I told you about, and you can rub your fingers on this as much as you want. It won't do anything. But if you have a cardboard box, it'll go right through it. This is my watch press. It's a pressed sapphire fronts on the watch. But, well, yeah, it'll cut cardboard. Anything will cut cardboard, but these are pretty cool little canary things. I don't know why I thought of that. I was looking for something to grab to cut this with, and I thought, well, the canary won't. Guess I'll use a shortcut to open up a shortcut. I refuse to call it. Good morning, Mr. Ron Crow. I refuse to call it a faux cut or whatever they want to call it. They make up little silly names for all the shortcuts, like Fozzie for fake, or Fozzie for fake Rosie. Anyway, they add an F usually to whatever the word is, and I think that's stupid. So this one does have the topo blade. So that's pretty cool. I think I will, depends on who I sell this to, but I might give them that other blade that I got with the first one. And keep this one for myself. If it's one of y'all, of course I wouldn't do that, but heck, I received one, so they should be good with one too. Let me get this tape back up really quick. I apologize. Y'all bear with me for 1 second. You gotta package stuff up so it doesn't get damaged in transit. Just joking. I hate this tape sometimes. That's enough of it. The next person doesn't need it. Well, good grief. I done dulled my shortcut. John, I'm not really into it. I bought this one for Sever, but he's going through some tough times of getting laid off right now. So, I got one for Waylon and one to have an extra for one of y'all. I'm not really into, I just got one. I just got that one. And this one that I'm selling. I'm guessing there's nothing different about this one. Yeah, this tape sucks. This is pretty riveting TV right here, I'll tell you. Good morning, Yusuf. How are you, sir? Ow! I'm getting poked. Alright, let's see what this one comes with. It comes with the little black lanyard, the pivot key, the little T6 and T8, and the shortcut. Let's see if there's anything different about this one. No. I don't think. Wow, the spring feels a lot lighter on this one. Yeah, I don't think I need a spring upgrade on mine, but I could see where this one could use one. This seems really light. But I don't guess it looks any different than the other ones. There was supposed to be a difference with something up here. Seems pretty centered. Seems to work okay. So yeah, if any of y'all want one of these and can't find one, hit me up. If not, I'll sell it on Reddit. Won't be no problem because they're kind of hard to find. Alright. Well, that's got that out of the way. Yeah, I really do like the mirror polish on this compared to what it did have. Still got a couple of the faint, it had a satin grind, so it's got some of the lines going this way, a couple, so I'm gonna have to go over it a little bit more, but it's getting there. It's really close. I bead blasted and started this knife over, so it's good to go. Pretty much gonna look brand new with a polished blade when I sell it, so that's cool. And I don't know why people talk about Tucson as being subpar quality, because I mean, the fitment of this carbon fiber in here is great. All the milling on this thing is great. I mean, it took a lot of CNC work to get this dialed in, and I don't know. I just don't get it. Some people talk bad about Tucson. It's even got a nice clip, the little roller ball, and nice blade. I mean, it's M390 blade steel. And for the price I got this knife, I don't know where you're going to get that much milling in M390. So stop talking trash about Tucson unless you've owned a bunch. Speaking of owning a bunch, I got curious about my collection and where I was at. So I went through and personally hand counted all my knives yesterday. And went through all my bags and cases. And I counted everything except for my fixed blades. And this is what I got. So yeah, TC, I've heard a lot of other things just besides the billboarding. There's one of our Discord members that does not like them at all. He says they lack soul, they're just mass produced and they don't have any kind of design to them. And I'm like, dude, they got some of the best designers working for them of anybody. But yeah, there's a guy in our Discord who does not like them at all. And let me tell you what he said about them last conversation I had with him. He said, this was his quote about Tucson's when I said, you shouldn't talk about them unless you've owned a bunch. And this is what he said, which I don't agree with. He said, there's no passion, just a new CNC cheap tie knife every week. And before that, yeah, this is what he said before that, which is pretty wild. It's a gross brand for people that like discerning man YouTuber to mouth breathe over. Anyway. Yeah, I love mine. In fact, I've got some out for delivery today, I believe. Maybe not. But anyway, this is my knife collection status. So I've got 4 hard cases. The 4 hard cases are the top 4. So I've got 53 Kaiser Kubies filled up in one case, 88 of my best clones in the next hard case, 90 of my best nice knives in filling up another case, 40, no, that changes to 40 now because of this one on the table. 40 Tucson in the other hard case. So I've got those 4 hard cases. And then I got all my zipper bags. So I've got 140 in the big zipper bags, the hard ones. I'll show you those. I've got 71 in the small zipper bags. I've got 68 in the medium zipper bags. I've got 179 in the black double over bags that I've got. I've got 12 back behind me on the wall in the magnet. 25 in boxes that I haven't opened. And 50 plus fixed blades that I didn't count. I probably got more, but closer to 60 or 70 fixed blades. And then 15 on the table and lying around right around here. So the total for all those added up is a staggering that number. So I don't know how it got to that number, but it got to that number. And that's a pretty wild number. I've got to do something about that. And it's just crazy how quick they add up. Like, you buy a few cases here and there and tuck them away, and then they just keep multiplying, it seems. So this, people ask me if like I have a whole nother room to store them in. And no, I don't. And it doesn't take as much space as you'd actually believe, because that is all of them. So there's the 4 hard cases on the right. I don't want to calculate that, John. Because let's just call them all $20 a piece. That adds up pretty quick. And they weren't all $20 a piece. But so when I was going over the list, right, when I said the big zipper cases are the 5 on the left over there. These small zipper cases are kind of on the bottom down there, and the medium sized one, there's a gray one and a black one. And then the black double ones are the ones on the top of all those ones in the middle there. But they all fit right there. And what's crazy is you could ask me to find a knife, and I bet within 3 minutes I could show it on screen. We're not going to test that theory today, but I bet I could, because I've got them all labeled properly. And so that helps. But anyway, that was interesting to find out. And like I said, I like the Arc Form Slim Foot, but it's just way too heavy. Like, I don't know why a company like that would do that, knowing they're going to run off a ton of people for being 5 ounces. I don't know. Like, the only other thing I can think of is that maybe it was done quickly and they didn't have, I don't know, maybe they got a better deal, like they saved a bunch of money by not getting it milled out. But I just I don't know. So I'm going to put this Tucson back in its hard case with all its brothers. And then I've got to make room in my nice case for this one and a few others that are on the magnet wall behind me. So I've got to figure out, as far as nice goes, which ones are better than others. But I thought while I had this one out here, I would grab its only brother that I have in the case. And that is the Arc Form Theory. So these are the only 2 Arc Form knives that I have. And it looks like they might be exactly the same size, which is pretty wild. Let's see how weight goes on both of them. So the Theory is a great knife. Very slicey, nice jimping. I like the blade shape better on it personally. Others don't. But the Theory looks like a bigger knife. It's got a bigger handle, bigger blade, and it weighs 4.91 ounces. And that is due to, I guess, yeah, there's no internal milling on it either. I guess it's got thinner titanium because this one weighs exactly 5.00. But this one weighs less than this one, which is pretty wild. Because looking at them, you wouldn't think that. I do like the pivot collar, or the pivot better on the slim foot. But the clip, let's see. I don't know. The clip is longer on the slim foot. I like how the Theory has the internal lock bar relief. And this one has the external, which looks uglier to me. I like the way the outside of this one looks better. So what I do, I've got a 90 knife case over here beside me. A 90 knife case. I don't know if I said that right. And so I keep it full of my 90 best knives. And I have to swap that out from time to time because I have to decide which one, like this one is coming out of the case because it's an M390 knife, but it's the crappiest knife in there. It's only worth like maybe $110. So this one will take its place in the case. But I keep my 90 best ones where I can get to them all the time. And then any kind of collections that I have with multiples of the same brand, I try to keep them together. And that's how I do all the other ones. That way, if I'm looking for a certain brand and I've got a bunch of them, I can go to that one place and they're all there. And then I keep like all my autos together and all my OTFs together. And then I keep like all my cheap Amazon knives together. And I just kind of group them by what they are. But if I do have a bunch of the same brand, I just like being able to know where to be able to touch a knife within a couple of minutes of wondering where it's at. And if you don't do like Ed does and have them all laid out to where you can see them all, which would be awesome, and you do like I have, then you've got to have some kind of organization. But but like I said, I've got here I can show you. We can go on location. But I've got I keep my 4 hard cases sitting beside me while I'm doing a broadcast. Because I want to be able to get to them pretty quickly. So over here beside me, hold on just a second. Wow, why is that not? Yeah, it always does this. It always does something crazy with the... Right over here beside me on the floor, I've got my 4 hard cases. I don't know why this is not switching to Give me just a second. Let me try to re-add it. Yep, still doing it. There's something about the transform and stuff on this. Aha. Let me try this. There we go. So now you can see those four, and behind theirs are the bags of all my boxes. And then over here, I've got all those other ones on that shelf over here across from me, along with some 3D printed stuff that I've got over there. But let me just show you, for example, if we go over here. Hold on just a second. I won't be able to see too good, but I'll be able to see on the phone screen. So if I go to this bag, this is all my integrals. This next bag I don't have marked, but I know there's only a couple that I don't have marked, and as soon as I open it, so this is by brand. Whoops, hold on. Put it over here. So this has got all my Ventiso, all my Y-Starts, my 2 lands, and then all my kind of grouped, reasonably priced random stuff, like all my Gonzos, a couple of Remettes, stuff like that. But then I've got this case that says Kaiser, QSP, Dam Designs, Vosti, Cubis, and Factor. Then I've got this one that says Kershaw, OK, and EMP EDC clones. And I got this one that says Civivi, Sincut, Boker, SRM, and Buck. Then I've got this one that says Kubi, Remet, CRKT, CJRB, Ontario, and Pandora, which is weird night. And then I got this one that says Amazon Knives, Openels, Ford, and Olatans. And then all these little bags have, like, this is my OTF and auto bag in one of these mediums. This is my Extrema Ratio, ZT, and Shiro in this bag. And I got a couple of these. I know this black one is all my Migarons, so Migarons have their own little case. Then I got one that says cheap Ozark Trail and cheap knives. Then Benchmade clone keepers. This is a new one that I just got. It's got a few random knives in it. Then all my 6 leafs. That black one is another random one. The orange one, I forgot what's in the orange one. Oh yeah, I know what's in it. Anyway, then I got one from all my Yankee collection. Then this camouflage one is all my shipwreck knives. And then I've got one more over here that I don't remember what it is. So a few of these little bags I have to unzip real quick to figure out what they are. But then all these hard cases over here, they're all labeled too. Well, I say that. That one's not. The rest of them are. Whoops, about slid off. But this one says, like, Benchmade. It used to have 6 leaf, but I moved them to their own box, and rattlesnake knives. This one says Concept, Ducks, and new Thai ones that I don't have a home for. This one says Spyderco and Microtech. That one says Grow, and the one below it says Cold Steel. So I've got them by brand to answer your question. I don't know how everybody does it, but I would think by brand makes the most sense. Yeah, you ought to show us, TC. to leave a little space in each bag for something new when I get it in. So that's how I try not to fill up every one totally full. So if I get one that matches one, I've got room for it. And I had loaned these out to Pete. That's why they're out. My unnamed 2, my LCT, and my Ferrum Forge Archbishop. Well, that's why they're laying out right now. But they got to go back in the nice case. So 3 more have got to be pulled out. So yeah, that's what it is. I got to get that clip mounted and bead blast and redo that big boy. I don't have a Agile, but I do have a Peregrine Falcon, which should be pretty close to the same size. Ah, tasty. I don't know how much different it is than the new one. If you're talking about the RT Agile Falcon, I'm not sure about how different it is. But I don't mind showing you that one. I know exactly where it's at. It's in my nice case in my little roomette section. It's right here. So I don't know why they called it. I don't know why they did double names on some of these new knives. This button fell off and it was loose again. I got to figure out a way to tighten that up. I need to use my watch back ball and tighten that up. But I don't know what you would want me to compare it to. And I don't know how much it compares to the new one. But all the bigger Romet knives, so there's the Kingfisher and the there's the Kingfisher and the Peregrine Falcon. And then this is the Wild Species. So I don't know what you're trying to compare it to. But like there's it next to the, there's them next to the Martin. And if you've got a LCT or a Drift L, you can see how it compares to it. Well, I picked the right one, John, didn't I? The LCT. I figured you might have one of those. They're very similar in total size. And I would be curious as to what the main differences are between this one and the Agile. I know it's a whole different knife, but it's kind of named the same. No problem, sir. In fact, let's go look at those since the topic came up. So let's see if I can bring up, let's see, Romet. Wonder if I just type Falcon if it'll find both of them. Yep. So the Peregrine Falcon and RT Agile Falcon. Let's see, open image in new tab. All right, there's that one. Open image in new tab, put those next to each other, and there's that one. So you can tell they look, so it's going to be quite a bit thinner, both blade and handle, but I'm betting the size overall, let's see, 7.8 inches on the one with the button, the big button, 7.6 inches on this one. So it's 0.2 of an inch smaller, shorter. And width, it's a little narrower. But this is the Peregrine Falcon next to the Agile Peregrine Falcon. Like I said, I have no idea why they chose to do that. It's like they made a narrower knife that said it's just called it Agile, like it's more usable. Yeah, I like both the blades. I've almost bought this knife a bunch. I found one on a Knife Swap the other day and almost grabbed it. But if you want to know a super comfortable knife that they make, I don't know what you think about the blade shape, but this this Wild Species has got some of the nicest rounding. It's so round and smooth and good feeling. It doesn't have quite enough jimping. I wish it had a little more. Yeah, this one falls out. That's what I was just talking about, TC. So this screws in, and you got to use, like, I found it down in my case. It came off one day, but this button will come right off if you turn it this way. So you have to use, so they make a tool for watches that's a back. It's a little rubber ball that you use to put backs on watches. But see, all you got to do is hit that button enough and it'll just come right off. So a little Loctite on that would fix that problem, and that's what I need to do, actually. But I just haven't done it. But it's real simple to get it off. Yeah, it is comfortable. The Wild Species. It feels really good in the hand. Something about all that rounded part, like how it's rounded here and rounded here, it just fits. It feels really smooth, like butter. But yeah, all it needs is a little Loctite, but they make a thing. So I got all my watch tools over here in a bag for when I do my watch builds, and they have this little ball that you use, like I said, to take off the backs of watches. So it's just a little rubber watch bouncy ball, and you could use this to press against it and tighten it up as tight as you could get it. But this is how you take the backs off of watches, with this ball right here. So it gets it pretty dang tight. I could show you real quick example. So when you have a watch back like this one, they don't have any little notches to where you can put a tool in there to get it off. So if you didn't have one of these balls, you really couldn't get it off. Wow, that didn't sound good. But all you do is just set this ball on here. It's easier to take the band off, but you just apply pressure and turn, and that's how you take the back off of a watch. I must have this one on there pretty good. Like I said, it's easier to get to if you take a link out of. There it goes. So you just use this ball. That's how you get the backs off of watches. Anyway, it's loose. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's turning, and I could take it completely off. But the way you tighten it back up is the same way. You just press down really hard and turn, and it tightens that that back up. enough that it's waterproof. So there you go, back's back on the watch. But it's a good tool to have if you for other stuff. Oh yeah, for what I said where that didn't sound good. Yeah, you must be a few seconds behind, TC. Said that like a couple of minutes ago. If you're laughing at what I think you're laughing at. See you later, Michael. So now that button should be tight for a while now. There's also little things like this that you use when you're building a watch to blow all the dust out of the insides of it. That's how you get the dust out of the inside. And then there's other little things too. They make little finger condoms so you don't get oil everywhere. So you can put those on the main fingers you're going to use. They also have little cool tools like this that I know we're getting into watches again now, but this is to take link. This is a little hammer that you use to put links in, and this is a link removal tool. So with ones that have press-in links, you take the band of the watch and you lay the band across here, and then you line up the pin and you tighten this little thing to press the pin through. This one has screw-in pins, but that's a little specialized tool. But you got to buy all these ones when you're starting to build watches, just so you have they're not that expensive, but there are a few little things you have to buy. And then there's a thing that holds the movement while you're working on it. There's a thing to oil the gaskets. So this is a gasket oiler. So you pull the little rubber gasket off the back of that I was talking about, and you lay it in there, and then you spin this thing and it oils up the gasket. Lubrijoints. And then there's a little pad that you lay the watch on when you're working on it. So the movement and stuff, and the dial. And then there's one more thing. So when you got the dial and the stem on it, you use this little thing, and the stem sticks out the side here, and the dial sits down in there perfectly so you can put the hands on. So when you put the hands on a watch, you use this little thing. But but it doesn't cost but like $20 for all these little things you need. But I keep them all in this little bag so I can, when I need to work on watches. But that little ball comes in handy for stuff that you need to tighten up that's round and you can't get any grip on. So that's just a little trick. If y'all haven't seen I know some of you haven't seen how the Kingfisher is made. So that would be a cool thing to show right now on video. So it doesn't have any screws, but it's not like the oh yeah, I forgot to bring out the other remet, but it's not like this one. So this one doesn't have any screws, but you just slide the side off of it. That's how you take it apart. I'm sure y'all knew that. This is the woodpecker. And it's probably, yeah, it's smaller than the Agile Peregrine Falcon. But the way the Kingfisher, as you see, it has no screws whatsoever, except for the pivot. So the way you take it apart is like this. You have to have a, you have to have a flathead to get the pivot out. I'm going to take the pivot out first just so I don't have to do that after. So you take the pivot out, and then that's all there is to it. And then you take, let me show you, let me zoom in just a little bit. Y'all can see this a little better. All right, so then the backspacer here, it's got a curved part that hooks around this rod at the bottom. So all you do is literally push up on it, and you can see that rod right there. So the bottom of this clips around that, then you just pull it up, and the top of it is shaped like that so that it hooks around that other pin, and then it just barely grabs that other back pin, and then that's all there is to it. Then it just comes apart. Now it's got a bunch of it's got a couple of pins in here that line up with the other side. Those are those two pins, but the backspacer curves around this top pin, so you can see that right there, and then it latches on to this bottom pin. So that's how it attaches. And what keeps it together is this screw right here. So this screw right here is on this side of the scales, and it slides in behind the backspacer. So the backspacer, it goes into that little curve right there, and it sits inside the backspacer, so the backspacer locks them together. And you can see how it is on the other one on the other side. So those two little standoffs are the same as what the same philosophy behind this one, where this stays on by the same way. So there's a little screw there. I mean, no, there's two screws on this right here, the same way. So those fit into those two holes right there and then slide into place. That's what holds them together. And the same with these two screws. Oh yeah, sorry John. John's totally right. The backspacer is the flathead. I hadn't taken this one apart in so long, but it is the flathead to take out the pivot. So they thought of everything. So the one I had fit in there perfectly, but this one probably does too. But to put it back together, all you got to do is just pop this back on and throw the backspacer back in, and you're good to go. The pivot, there we go. So yeah, you just push it back together. You hook this around that one pin. Let me get the pivot put back together. But yeah, this fits right in here. All right, that's good to go. Now you can see those two. I don't think that back one is in. Yeah, it is. So this just hooks around that front pin right there, hooks around the front one. Well, like that, and then you just clip it down and it clips around the back pin. And that's what holds her together. Super cool knife. I watched a video on it back when I first started collecting knives, and it was one of the first nicer ones that I bought. If y'all hadn't seen that, another knife that has a little bit of the same stuff going on with it is the Hinderer Full Track. So the Full Track has a little bit different but pretty cool way that it works. See if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. So the Hinderer full track is this knife, and it has weird looking screws and pivot, and it's a big old boy. It's a Hinderer, but the way they included, so the pivot, I mean the backspacer on it is the same way. You do something here. Oh yeah, you just pull up right there, and the way it works is it has a little spring in the back of this cup, and it has this little hook thing right here. So what you do is you put it around this back pin, and that spring applies pressure to the front pin. So you take it and you slide it in, and that spring will keep the pressure on it. And then it's got the same kind of thing with the tool. So the tool on the end of it is made to do the clip screws and the body screws. It's a double. It's got one little head up there at the top and a bigger one milled into it. So both of those are on there. Yeah, you can ask any questions you want. McGee, I didn't see your question. You can't buy it without knowing. I pretty much say all the names of the knives I'm working on. It's the Remet Kingfisher was the last one that I was just working on. I'm pretty sure you know how to use Google, right? I'm not trying to be ugly, but I figure if I say the name of the knife, that people can find it. I mean, I don't mind giving you the exact link to it, but good morning, mister. But the one earlier was the Remet Kingfisher. I'm already on the Remet site, but you just go to remetknife.com and type in Kingfisher, and you will see it right here. Now they're sold out, so I don't know where you'd have to find one on the secondary market, but so that really didn't help you any. McGee, pretty sure he might have left, but if you didn't, there it is. And I did say the name of it. I said it was the Kingfisher. So I'm sorry if you have trouble paying attention and can't find stuff when I clearly said what it was. There's no need to be rude in the chat. Calling the mods cool mods. Yes, I do have some cool moderators. Some of the best guys around. Good morning, Mr. Mister, by the way. Hope you're doing well, sir. I'm not sure if you saw, but the started off the video talking about the neutralizer was released last night. .154 cm blade steel. I need to take this clip off of it. It's only got one screw in it. It's kind of stupid to have this on here. It's just going to scratch up. I'm going to bead blast the knife anyway, so I don't care if there's any snails or scratches on it. Little light surface scratches. But this one screw, there's no point in having this clip on there. I got to find some screws, but this thing is a beast, boy. This thing is pretty big. And y'all know I showed my Shepherd, my Rad Knife Shepherd. This is made by the same clone company. Yeah, this pipe that you can smoke through is super cool, though. I mean, this tomahawk that you can smoke through. I'm gonna hit it one last time. Yeah, it hits really good. I'm impressed. Oh, by the way, mister, look what I got. I got that Patriot Tomahawk that you can, it's a peace pipe. I need to fix my zoom on my, there you go. You can almost see the whole thing. Yeah, I got the Patriot pipe Tomahawk. That's what I was surprised. That's what I said I was hoping I would get yesterday, that I would surprise y'all with today. Yeah, it's not that big, really. I mean, you figure it's one, two, it's like 2.5 Vipers. It's a Viper, a Ferrum Forge Archbishop, and a well, I don't know. It's something. It's a Viper, a Shortcut, and a Ferrum Forge Falcon. How long it is. And it is razor sharp. I bet it would shave you. I showed it earlier, but it just went right through a piece of paper like it wasn't nothing. One more shot of the neutralizer before I start winding things down. Let's see here. So there's the original. And there's the new clones. It is a clone, not a counterfeit, I guess. So that's pretty awesome. And like I said, every month I will put the coupons in the Discord. So if you go to the links channel in the Discord and scroll up, every month I'll put the latest whatever, the promo codes to take $20 off or $10 off or whatever. So if you buy one of those neutralizers, use that $10 code right there, and you'll get it for $85 instead of $95. If you buy both of them, use this $20 code, and you'll get them for $85 instead of $95. But I'm going to try to keep that in the links channel every month. So if y'all ever buy anything, from AliExpress, always go check the links channel first. And I was going to make a new post with, there's a bunch of new codes. So I think it would be easier if I just link to the Reddit post every month, because there's a guy that really stays on top of it. But here's the, whoops. By the way, there's what the neutralizer looks like in hand. So, some good news. Lemifshi's FSD, Brown Knives FSD, is probably going to be a liner lock. So Jufool said that he's going to work on a version of the FSD with the brown lock. So it's going to have the proprietary lock that I guess it has, or the double the detent. I don't know. It's not the lock, but it's actually, I think, the detent is a little different on it or something. But there's the neutralizer in action. I like the blade shape. So that's it. But there's a guy that makes a post every month with the AliExpress stuff in it. So I'll link to it every month. And let me show you how many codes. Oh, I pre-ordered one of these on Kickstarter. They're 39% off. They're only $139 if you get one today. But I went ahead and grabbed one of those to review. But that post, the AliExpress post, it's right here. So he does this every month. Let me post this in the links channel. All right, there you go. It looks like a calendar, so this month, but when you go in here, check out how many codes he has listed. He has all the codes right there for you to copy and paste. And they're all right there. And it tells you what days they're having sales and whatever too. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so the Brown Knives FSD lock. It's called the Brown lock. Let's go check it out. But Jufool was thinking about doing this. I've got the sound off, evidently.
FSD number 31, so it's one of the earlier variants. I think around 50 or 80 or something like that. He made some changes, including the button and the jimping and some other stuff. But regardless, great knife. And this one came in a little sludgy. I actually could not even reverse flick it when it got here. I was like, wow, this thing feels like it's on, like someone swapped it to washers or something like that. As you can see now, it's quite clearly on bearings and doing quite well. And these full size to me just feel phenomenal in hand. Super fidgety, and really enjoy messing around with these and flipping them out in every way that you can. Even just rolling them out. They're just great knives. This particular one is special to me because I've been looking for it for about a year. It's in 20 CV, and that's something I've been going for. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about what I did to get it to where it is, because it was sludgy, it needed to be cleaned up, and then also it had a little bit of wiggle here. So if you've had that on one of your FSTs, I'm going to talk about what I did to fix that and see if I can break some stuff. So got the trusty old Weehaw kit there. And let's go ahead and open it up. And I may Loctite this at some point, but I didn't Loctite it this time. I'm just kind of tuning it and trying to get everything right, so not super important. T8 on the pivot, T10 back here, which I think is kind of funny. Interesting that he chose to do a T10 on this screw. I'd be curious to know what led to that thought, because Craig's pretty thoughtful guy, and he doesn't do things without a reason, in my experience. But now that those are undone, I could barely get this thing open. It was so sticky when I first got it. So you can see now it's quite clean and just a tiny bit of lube up here, but overall looks basically like a brand new knife. If you're not familiar, these are removable. Not sure if it'll come out there, but these come out. The other one was a little stuck. But what you'll notice here is that there are these two adjustments, and they're set screws that.
Yeah, that's how you. That's how it is on the Cortex.
You can imagine if this was upside
down. How you adjust the detent.
This is the one that's touching
and the lockup
when it's closed, and this is the one that's touching when it's open. Right? You can see that when this opens up, it'll be hitting against here. So if you have play when the knife is closed, right? You can see this one. Right? See how that fits right in there? This is the one you need to adjust, and you adjust it very slightly. You do not want to do big adjustments on these. In fact, let me pull out a tool, and I'll even show you what you do. Because I did notice a tiny bit of opening adjustment I need to make, and hey, why not try and break it and screw it up while live on YouTube, right? So what I did for the closed action was a slight bit of tightening to this one, because this is the one that touches when it's closed. So I personally choose to do it this way. You could do it this way, but I find it harder to be as incremental. So I put it in here like this with the shorter end so that I have a bit more control. And I just moved it, I don't know, 5 or 10 degrees. That can make a big difference on these. And now it basically has almost no play. When it's open, there was a tiny bit. So I may try and do it a little more, and I'll just show you what I mean by how little. And that's it. Same thing. So this is when it's open, it'll be resting.
Tomahawk works.
And so if you're having a little play when it's open, I believe, I have actually never adjusted this one, to be honest. Maybe it won't. That's likely.
Yeah, I've shown you all that.
Right now.
But the button is what I'm curious about.
I'll just
it's got a nice, like,
you can see
it's like a liner lock with a button like liner lock. That's cool. Looks like it's pretty solid too.
And this is the basically the detent and the stop pin and everything is here. That goes in here. And then you can see the brown lock, which is really cool, right? Because you're pushing it on this side of the knife, but this bar goes all the way across. It's pretty neat. So let's go ahead and put it
That's what I was curious about. So Jufuel is supposed to be working on this version.
You can see when it's in the lock. I actually chose not to take it off when I tried to do it. I was going to clean under there, but I was like, I just basically ended up taking a rag and cleaning under there. But man, the knife went from sludgy to just work. But that would be wrong. I have a lot of ways to check there and going forward and forward until I get good lockup. Saw the old Brown Knives danger zone happen right there. So I put my thumb on the freaking button.
So yeah, that'll be cool. It's supposed to be, the Lemifshi version is supposed to be an M390. Yeah, I don't like how it bounces back either. I agree. Yeah, I'm super impressed with the Tomahawk. It's working well. As you can see. So glad I got that. They did sell out pretty quickly, and I really like the stuff it came with. So it came with the pocket Constitution. I mean, how cool is that? Got to be proud of the United States. All right, John, have a good one, buddy. And I don't know what these cards are, but I guess they're limited because this is number 33 and 34. Jungle Combat and Patriot. And of course the sticker and the book. And the wax seal is a nice touch. Super nice touch. And I like how it streaked when he pulled it away when he was doing the hot wax seal. So that's pretty cool. Cast 6150 tool steel. Hardened and tempered for strength. Mister, I would pass it to you. Here you go. Smoke 'em peace pipe. If y'all aren't familiar where I got that, it's RMJ Tactical, I believe. RMJ something. RMJtactical.com. So he's dropping this in another day. And well, I don't know where it is. Patriot. Patriot. Here it is. So yeah, one more time real quick. We'll watch this video. I want you to see this. That I got to take out that music, so give me just a second. YouTube flagged me last time. Ron Crow, see you later, buddy. Yeah, YouTube flagged me for that. I had to do profit sharing. So let me get past this first little music. Well, I guess it's going to play. I'll have to go back and delete the music later. It's fine. No big deal. It's not like I'm making any kind of money from these videos anyway.
New process. When I was a kid, I got interested in tomahawks. My father bought me a book called Swords and Blades of the American Revolution. And it had a section on tomahawks, and it had these pipe tomahawks in it. It really captured my imagination as a kid. You see the pipe tomahawk come around in the 1700s. It was a real American invention. It was something that the Europeans were forging tomahawks for trade items for the Native Americans. Our company, we mix modern and historical quite a bit. So this was an easy project for us. We love mixing old and new together, and this is a great example of that. So this tomahawk, while it's based on an original from the 1780s, we took the photographs of the original, modeled it in CAD to make sure we were getting it right. The handles are made on a 120-year-old copy lathe that was originally made for making gun stocks for the 1903 Springfield rifle. So there's an interesting mix of old and new technologies. You know, we drill the pipe bowls out with a CNC mill. We turn the handles on an old lathe. We still use the same heat treating techniques that you would see used 200 years ago. So it is a fully functional axe. It is a fully functional pipe. It's something you can carry and split wood with. It's something you could literally dress game with, but you could also smoke. The challenges we had with this product are the challenges with any product. I think getting it right is the big challenge. You know, making sure that the details are there, that the shape is right, that the proportions are right, that everything is harmonious. To be able to make one of something is pretty straightforward and doesn't take a lot of time. To be able to make something that a lot of people can enjoy, that's where it's difficult. One of the biggest complaints I've been making tomahawks for 39 years now, and the biggest complaint that I've had is that I've never made enough tomahawks. You know, it's hard to make these things. I make them one at a time in my shop, and there's never been enough to go around, so to speak, especially with pipe tomahawks. I was excited about this project in that because I'm working with the big, with RMJ USA, because we have a team put together, we can really seriously make some tomahawks that's not just onesies and twosies. The feedback I'm getting from that is
I think he released
that people are
25
excited because they can finally
in this
have
batch.
a pipe hawk to take camping, the pipe hawk to pass around when they're sitting around the campfire at their house. That's exciting, I think, for people. Best way to grab one of these pipe tomahawks is to go to rmjtactical.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram.
So yeah, that's the story behind it. So yeah, oh yeah, Pete, I can do Shusugi Ban. Shusugi Ban, is that what it's called, I believe? The technique, the Japanese technique of blackening wood to preserve it where it doesn't rot. Shusugi Ban. Yeah, they do that a lot with Japanese building. The fire treat wood. Shusugi Ban. Yeah, I could do that. But with stain, I can always change it. Once you do that heat treatment, it's going to have to take away a bit of the handle. Yeah, that's what I think it's let's see. SHO Usugi Ban. Yeah. Or Yakasugi is the other name. But Yakasugi, they build fires down in the middle of them. And that's how you blacken. But it's the Japanese are the ones that kind of pioneered that technique. They do it for a lot of their building. Yeah. Shusugi Ban,
So,
woodworking
what's all the
art.
hype about staining burnt wood anyways? Well, building something with stained burnt wood, or otherwise known as Shoshigiban, will leave you with a beautifully contrasted work of art that'll be an attractive conversation piece. I'm going to show you a handful of different Shoshigiban techniques that'll level up your woodworking. And once you see how easy it is and how beautiful it looks, you'll definitely want to use this technique to build some attractive looking projects. Now,
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch
the good
this
thing is
later.
you don't need many materials to do this, but the materials you will need are a soft wood like pine with a good grain pattern, a torch, a wire brush or nylon wheel brush, some stain, some wipe on or brush on poly, some foam brushes, clean rags, a pair of gloves, and a dust mask. So the first process that I want to show you is just going to be a light burn. It's not enough to char the wood, but will give it that zebra-like effect contrast. And when you're doing this, try to find a grain pattern that you'd like here. So I usually look at whichever side I think would be the coolest grain pattern and go with that. Now, when you do this, obviously you're not going to want to torch this piece of wood here on a flammable surface. So what I've done is, for the sake of this video, I've just put some screws here and I'm going to stick it in the vise so that the vise can hold in the piece of wood. We're just going to char it right here on the vise. Now, when you do this, what you're going to want to do is actually hold the torch kind of farther away. You don't want to just go all the way up to it and just char the hell out of the wood, because then you're not going to get that nice, even burnt effect on here. So let me show you. So what I usually do is start off by sneaking up on the wood with the torch to determine the distance and speed that I want to go with. The reason I do this is so that I don't burn the wood too dark and maintain that consistent pattern.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
It's probably best that you try this on a scrap piece of wood first, just to get a little feel for it. And always remember to keep the torch moving at a consistent speed and distance from the wood, because if you slow down your pace, you'll end up creating dark spots, which isn't the end of the world, but you won't get a consistent burn pattern. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and burn these last two here. Probably take me a couple minutes, but for you,
All right.
about
Then he stains it.
going to do light, even pat being wire brush with a drill brush. So I got this from my local. Okay. Okay, so now we're gonna scrape the grain, and the easiest way to do this is with a drill brush. So I got this from my local big box store. I think I paid around $5 for it, and it is the medium to fine grit. So I did try the coarse grit, it ripped up the grain a little bit too much. So we're gonna go with this medium grit, and as always, dust mask, safety glasses are your best friend here. Unless you're looking for a workout, I recommend getting yourself a nylon drill brush. It makes this process so much easier and quicker than using a wire hand brush, which you'll see me struggle with in the next few minutes. And believe it or not, it's weirdly satisfying using this thing. Just a forewarning though, you may want to do this outside because the soot gets everywhere. If you're doing multiple boards, Again, I find contrast and it's easier and quicker to soak the
That green is pretty cool.
So now you get to watch this guy put in some elbow grease with the hand wire brush. Again, it's much easier to do this with the drill brush, but if you want to hand scrape a dozen boards, then more power to you. If you decide to take the less traveled road and go this route, just make sure that you're always scraping in the direction of the grain. And Godspeed. So the last process that I'm going to show you is going to give the wood a really unique finish. It involves charring the wood like we did in the last step, but the only difference here is we're not going to do any brushing. We're just going to poly right over that charred wood and see what happens. Okay, so this last piece is going to be like the last, except wood until you alligator skin the torch at an even.
He's charring that one to death.
Here, it looks like alligator skin. I chose to use spray on poly this time because, well, I ran out of brush on poly for one, and number two, I put on a couple of coats that I didn't want to wait 3 hours between coats. You'll notice once you put the poly down, you'll really start to see that color pop even more, and if you're building something, it's always nice to have that little layer of protection.
That charred one looks pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know what color I like the best.
Now you'll notice that some of these Shoshugi bond techniques kind of give that wood a weathered and aged effect. Now if you want the ultimate tutorial,
But it would be kind of cool to make it green. Don't start rapping, mister. I can't hear you. I want to hear those skills. I posted a few pictures with knives laying on these last night, so that was cool to have. I'm waiting on my backing material to come in to make some more, but y'all will see those whenever they're made. Yeah, if any of y'all want a shortcut, hit me up. I've got an extra one. I will give it to you exactly for what I paid for it, plus whatever it costs for shipping from me to you. But it's right here. So yes, everyone, I appreciate you. I'm gonna start ending this one down. It's been a cool episode. Got to do an unboxing. I'm gonna keep the tomahawk out until I empty the bowl. But I am going to put this stuff back up. This will make a nice heirloom piece. You can always, there's stuff called grunge off for cleaning pipes that you can run down through here and clean that out completely, or alcohol will work. That's all grunge off is alcohol and some little grit texture. But anyway, appreciate y'all being here today. If y'all need me, you know how to get a hold of me. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up on the way out, and join the Discord if you haven't. And tomorrow is Friday, so look forward to that. Anyway, guys, hope you have a great Thursday, and we will see y'all tomorrow.